Welcome back to Spelling and Word Study. My name is Mrs. Rhoades, and I'm here to get you started on Unit 6, Final Blends. Please take a second to gather your materials. You should have your blue book open to page 41. Also grab some colorful pencils, crayons, or markers. Whatever I do on the board, you should be doing on your page. Save room for a key. If it doesn't fit here, a separate sheet of paper or a sticky note is fine. Remember, at any point, if I'm going too fast, you should pause the video and then catch up. All right, so for the last 5 weeks, we focused on short vowels, A, E, I, O, and U, and their short vowel sounds, A, E, I, A. Before we move on to long vowels, I want to spend one more week looking at short vowels, but you'll notice this week all of our words end with a blend, specifically the CT blend or the NCT blend. I chose these because I think they're a little bit trickier for a lot of kids. So I want to make sure you're solid on these before we move on. All right, so please repeat after me, and as you do, listen for that kt or nkt sound at the end of each word. Here we go. Attract, collect, connect, contact, contract, distinct, distract, affect, extinct, instinct, predict, product, protect, subject, subtract. Hopefully you heard that kt or nkt sound at the end of each word. All right, just as we always do, let's go through and slice our words into syllables, starting with attract between the T's, collect between the L's, connect between the N's, contact after the N, contract after the N, distinct after the S, distract after the S, affect between the double F's, extinct after the X, instinct after the N, predict after the E, product after the O, protect after the O, subject after the B, and subtract after the B. In your key, please write vertical line equals syllable break. All right, so next we go through our words and we check off our stressed syllable. Remember, each word is going to have one syllable that is spoken a little bit louder, a little bit more strongly. So let's choose another color, and we're going to put a little check above our stressed syllables. So in attract, it's the second syllable. Collect, second syllable. Connect, second syllable. Contact, first syllable. Contract, first syllable. But we could also pronounce this contract, right? A contract is a piece of paper that binds people together, right? So if you hire someone to do work on your house, you have them fill out a contract. The first part is stressed, but if you're talking about something contracting, so for instance, your muscles, you make a muscle, right? You can expand or you can contract your muscle. In that case, you're stressing the second syllable. So this is interesting because the way you pronounce a word can tell people what the meaning is and what the part of speech is. If you're using it as a noun, you're going to say contract. If you're using it as a verb, you're going to say contract. You'll see that again later in our list. Distinct, second syllable. Distract, second syllable. Affect, second syllable. Extinct, second syllable. Instinct, first syllable. Predict, second. Product, first. Protect, second syllable. Subject, first syllable. But there's also a word subject, right? So a few weeks ago, my husband went grocery shopping with me, and I asked him to wait in the deli line, and it took like 20 minutes. It was super boring. And when he was done, I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry I had to subject you to that boring job," right? So when you subject someone to something, you make them do something unpleasant. So we have subject, like math is my favorite subject, or we have subject, once again, if we're talking about the noun subject, we stress the first syllable. But if we're talking about the action to subject someone to something, we stress the second syllable. And then our last word is subtract. Okay, so brown check equals stressed syllable. All right, here's something else cool that I want you to notice. All of our words this week start with a prefix. So, for instance, last week we talked about dis, right? And we said that dis can mean not, like dishonest is not happy, disloyal is not loyal. So look at this word distinct. If something is distinct, it's not like anything else. It's different. Okay, I'm going to write that right here. Distinct means not like anything else. So 6 and 5 are distinct numbers. They're not the same thing, right? 1/2 and 0.5 are not distinct numbers because they actually are the same thing, the same value. So distinct means not like anything else. Dis is our prefix that can mean not. Okay, we've also talked about the prefix X before. We know X means out, like an ex-boyfriend, right? Or an exit that lets you leave the building. If an animal is extinct, it's out. It doesn't exist anymore. So we're going to write extinct means not alive anymore, okay? And I'm not talking about a person who passed away. We would never say, oh, my grandmother's extinct. We're talking about a whole species, like dinosaurs are extinct. Dodo birds are extinct. They're just not here anymore. They're out of here. Another prefix that we've talked about is in. In can mean inside. So an instinct is something inside you, something you're born with, right? Nobody taught you how to cry when you were a baby. You were just born knowing how to do it. That was inside you. Another prefix we haven't talked about, but you should know, is pre. Pre means before, right? So if you predict that it's going to rain today, you predict it, you say it before it actually happens. So dis, ex, in, pre, those are all prefixes that you should know. We're going to talk about some others in just a few minutes. So blue box equals Okay. We also want to talk about roots. So when you get to page 44, you're going to do an entire activity using the root tract. Tract means pull. Think of a tractor. A tractor can pull a wagon. It can pull all different kinds of farm equipment, right? So tract means pull. We see tract right here in a tract. The prefix at, by the way, means towards. So a magnet attracts other metals towards it, right? An attractive person pulls your attention, right? You want to look at them because they're so pretty or so handsome. So to attract is to pull towards. Now here we have tract again. This time it has the prefix dis. I told you already that dis can mean not, but it can also mean away. So if someone distracts you, they're pulling your attention away, right? So you're trying to do your homework, but your brother keeps asking questions. He keeps distracting you. He's pulling your attention away. We also have subtract right here. Sub is a prefix that means under. So when you subtract, you're like, I mean, not literally, but you're kind of like pulling a number under, right? So I had 10 pieces of candy. I ate 2 of them. My total amount went from 10 to 8. So I've pulled that amount under. I've made it less. So subtract would be to pull under. One more that I missed is right here. Contract and contract. The prefix con means with. So a contract is a piece of paper that pulls people together, right? It's proof that they're going to work with each other. When you contract your muscle, you're pulling it together. When you have a contraction, think about the contraction it's really pulling together the words it and is. Okay, so right here we have 4 examples of words that use the root tract, and tract is a root that means pull. You will see some other examples in this unit, okay? Also, what else do we need to talk about? I think that's it. All right, so very quickly, let's just make sure that you understand what all your words mean. So we talked about attract, that means to pull something towards you or pull someone's attention towards you. To collect is to gather stuff together. To connect is to put 2 things together. To contact someone is to call them or reach out to them. You're trying to make a connection with them. We talked about contract. We talked about distinct, distract. Affect is a noun, right? So we in school we learn about cause and effect. In life we learn about cause and effect, right? This happens all the time. This is one of your parents' jobs is to teach you about cause and effect, right? So they make you clean your room. If you don't clean your room, then they give you a consequence. So messy room is the cause, consequence is the effect. I want you to circle effect because I want you to remember that effect is what we call a homophone. Homophones are two words that sound the same but have different meanings. So I told you that an effect is a noun and it's the result. Like this is what happens. This is the effect, right? But there's also this kind of effect, which means, well, how will that affect me, right? So this is a verb, right? And this is a noun. Okay, we talked about extinct. Instinct we talked about, that's something you're born with. Not my best handwriting, so something you're born with, that's your instinct. And by the way, it's not just humans that have instincts, animals also have instincts. To predict is to say what's going to happen before it happens. A product is something you make. Protect means to take care of something or someone. And then a subject, we talked about that as well. All right, that's all I have for you today. Good luck, and I will see you next time.